Hello, it's Big Ben, and this is Big Ben's Movie Show. We're back again for another week. This week, my guest, glad to have him back on again, it's Juan. What's up, Juan?
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
So Juan is the editor of the show, usually the director of our shows, and this week we get him on the booth, on the stage, in front of the camera. I don't know what we're calling this. It's a table. I'm at a table. So Juan's at the table.
It's a studio, I think. We're in the studio.
Yeah, we're in the studio. The big news for this week is we watched Captain America: Civil War, yo.
Yes, we did.
It happened.
Oh my God.
We've been waiting. I wore this shirt in honor of the review. I also wore this to the show, to the movie Thursday night when I went. I was not alone. There was many other Captain America fans there. Let's go ahead and look at the trailer and get to talking. Here we go.
This job, we try to save as many people as we can. Sometimes that doesn't mean everybody. But you don't give up.
New York, Washington, D.C., Sokovia.
Okay, that's enough.
Captain, people are afraid.
That's why I'm here. We need to be put in check. Whatever form that takes, I'm game.
I'm sorry, Tony. If I see a situation pointed south, I can't ignore it. Sometimes I wish I could.
Sometimes I want to punch you in your perfect teeth.
I know we're not perfect. But the safest hands are still our own. I was wrong about you. The whole world was wrong about you.
They're coming for you.
I'm not the one that needs to watch their back.
This doesn't have to end in a fight, Tony.
You just started a war. Stay down. Final warning.
I could do this all day.
All right, I've run out of patience. On to roost!
Hey, everyone.
So here's the deal. I'm just going to go ahead and give my brief review right now. We're going to go spoiler-free for the first few minutes, and then after that we're going to give you a little countdown, and then we're going to talk about what really went on in this movie, because, oh my God, it was amazing. So this movie is wonderful. This is the best Marvel movie they've done yet so far, in my opinion. It still had a little bit of the comedy stuff that we've seen in the others, but not nearly as much. It, for the most part, stayed with this very heavy subject matter that kind of parallels what we're seeing with the situation in Ferguson, the situation that we're really seeing across the country with Black Lives Matter, but in this situation it was normal people matter, I think would be the way that you'd want to look at that, where who is responsible when superheroes blow stuff up when people die? And this movie tries to answer the question, instead of just a giant punch fight between their two best, there's also legal ramifications. There's a document, there's the UN, there's all kinds of cool stuff. So it gets really heavy about that. Juan, what did you think? Just first impressions.
Okay, right off the bat, I remember when this got announced, Captain America: Civil War happened. I don't know if you know this, but Mark Millar, if he's not my favorite, he's one of my favorite comic book writers.
Oh yeah.
And definitely my favorite comic book story, one of those crossover stories, is the Civil War comic book. It's amazing. And so when I heard this, I was instantly floored, really mad, because I knew because of legal issues of who owns what character,
You
it
weren't
wasn't
gonna
going to
be
be
able to-
my story. You know, they don't have the X-Men, they don't have Fantastic Four,
They didn't have Spider-Man.
they didn't
at
have
the time.
Spider-Man, and you know, and so I was really mad. Like I was really mad when I heard this because I feel like they were going to make a bastardized version of what I loved. So time went on. You know, it took a while. Time went on, and they made. You know, I heard they got Black Panther in it. You know, kind of. You know, it's pretty good. And then I heard they got Spider-Man. And I was like, okay, they're making better. And then I heard that Mark Millar was kind of helping with the story a little bit.
Yep.
And you know what? I kind of got over it once I saw the movie because no, this wasn't the Civil War that I love. This wasn't not at all. You know, there are parts of it.
Yeah.
But it was a good story. It was
no fake Thor killing a giant man, and
which
stuff
would have
like
been awesome.
Which would have been amazing.
There's no Punisher killing villains right in front of everybody. I mean, there's no Iron Spider suit. I mean, which would have been great. Which would have been, you know, made me very happy. But this was still a really good story. Great acting. You know, great effects. It looked beautiful. I told you one of my favorite effects that it was the young Tony Stark effect.
Yes. Early on in the movie, we see Tony Stark giving what looked like almost a TED talk to the students at MIT. And during this, we see one of his memories played out in front of the crowd. And in it, they have young Robert Downey Jr. walking around the scene. It's a similar effect that they used in Ant-Man with young Michael Douglas. But in this one, if it's possible, it looked even better.
Yeah, so much better.
And it's not like normal movies where they're like, oh, look, here it is. And then they immediately cut away. They left it on him.
Oh, no.
He walks around and talks, and they don't cut away. They don't.
Yeah. Or you'd think they would with like makeup and stuff like that. They'd like, what in past old movies they would do is like they try to kind of show a little bit of it like a silhouette or far away. They got close up with him. You know, I was able to see like the eyelashes at the bottom of his his eyes. His beautiful, beautiful Robert Downey Jr. eyes. He looked like straight out of Weird Science, and I'm really blown away. And I can't wait because eventually this stuff is going to get better and better, and maybe we'll see a whole movie with young Robert Downey Jr. I mean, that would be my dream, but it looked amazing.
Eventually, I think it gets to the point where, do we even need actors anymore?
No.
I mean,
we just need stunt doubles or body doubles.
I mean, it sounds like the whole world's going to go voiceover, which will be an interesting thing since we went from radio, where it was all about your voice, to television, where we stopped casting ugly people, and now we might go back the other way, where it's like, it doesn't matter what you look like because CGI Robert Downey Jr.
Dude, amazing. It looked amazing. Almost terrifying how amazing it looked.
Yeah, that was some amazing stuff.
Yep.
I mean, the other things that just were off the charts spectacular, the airport fight scene that you saw little bits of there in the trailer, it's breathtakingly wonderful. Just some of the best fight action that you've seen in a long time. Lately, movies that have big fight scenes, they feel repetitive and stupid, and it almost feels like if you need to pee, you can pee during the fight scene because it's a waste of time and no one's going to die and everything's fine. This movie kind of takes you away from that we actually got to see, they couldn't have people dying all the time, so instead of that, just huge over-the-top stunt work.
Yeah.
Little moves that we'd never seen anybody do before. You'd have a great big action scene, and then you'd have some wonderfully touching scenes where with only a few lines, they can convey so much emotion, so much thought, so much depth, and yet at the same time, it never felt like there was too much of it. It was, okay, we're going to have a little bit of serious talk now, and back to the fun, and come back for serious, and back, and the balance of it
I feel like
was perfect.
I feel like Age of Ultron tried to do that.
Tried to do that.
And emphasis on try.
Yeah.
Because they failed. Like, I mean, the whole romance between Scarlett Johansson's character, Black Widow, and Bruce Banner was like, oh, it's cute, but like, it felt very like...
Forced.
It was like, they're in a room, and she's talking about how she can't have kids, and it's like, let's get out of here.
Plus, that's a really awkward
time to talk about this.
Talking about not being able to have kids, whereas in this movie, it's more like, I worry that I'm not doing my job well enough. That's cool. That's something that I worry about too. That I talk about with friends.
Who's responsible for all the people that died?
Who's responsible? I mean, it's And here's the other thing: should they then have just not shown up, the superheroes, and then everybody would have died,
right?
Or should they have? I mean, is there somebody out there saying you could have done it better?
Oh yeah, let's see them try.
Isn't that kind of asinine in some ways? But yeah, so it's overall the whole thing is really cool. Now in the comic books when they did Civil War, a couple things came out of it, and we're going to talk about two of them. One of them was the Initiative, which became one of the coolest ideas Marvel's ever had, which was that every single state would have their own superhero team, and the teams would kind of be tailored to the state.
Yeah.
So if you go to like New Mexico, it's like there's a cowboy,
and
there's a luchador, and there's a Native American, and then when you go to somewhere like Texas, well, it's more
you
cowboys.
go to New York, you get like Lady Liberty or something.
Yeah, you get Lady Liberty, and Uncle Sam and stuff like that, and those would be your superheroes there. So we didn't get to see any of that with this one, which we kind of, like Juan was saying,
yeah, it's not.
We weren't going to have all those heroes. We weren't going to have all that cool stuff. And the other thing that happens kind of after Civil War, but that also we were waiting for and didn't happen, and I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to get right into the spoiler part here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Captain America doesn't die.
Yeah.
In the comic books, Captain America dies. Now, this has been out on the internet for weeks and weeks and weeks. Now that we're doing Civil War, does this mean they're going to kill off Captain America? Is Chris Evans going to take a break? Because there's been a bunch of other guys that have been Captain America, 2 of whom are fairly prevalent in the movie, and that's
Winter
Bucky,
Soldier and
the
Falcon,
Winter Soldier, and Falcon, who is the current Captain America.
Right. Well, I think he's back now. I think Captain America is back now.
Captain America is back, but so
he's
now
still not Captain America yet?
No, there's technically 2 Captain Americas now.
Okay.
So the stuff that I want to talk about, number 1, Black Panther. He looked amazing. Would you?
I mean, his suit was great.
Yeah.
And the guy who plays him he's a great actor.
Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, he's done some good stuff. He did
he's done a bunch
42.
of stuff. 42. The James Brown movie.
Yeah.
He's been in a bunch of things lately. Actually, lately, the one thing that I saw him in, he was great, and the movie sucked. Gods of Egypt.
Ooh. Oh yeah, I saw I was in that. I didn't watch that. I'm sorry I had to watch that. No. But he's a great actor. So you obviously are going to get a great performance from him. And I realized that because they're introducing him or whatever.
Yeah.
It was quickly it was within 10 minutes you kind of see oh, okay, this is who you are. You love your dad a lot, and your dad's dead.
Yeah.
And now we know why you're here. Now you're trying to kill Bucky, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
So it was quickly done.
And the way that they kind of wrote it in was that he has been Black Panther for quite some time, but he wasn't the king until his father died.
Right, because in Wakanda, there's the warrior and then there's the king.
Yeah.
More often than not, I'm pretty sure in the comic books, the warrior is a king. But, I mean,
yeah,
whatever.
no, in the version of the Ultimates where they announced him, his father was Black Panther, and actually would morph into a human panther hybrid, and then he got killed by the Chitauri, the bad guys from Avengers 1.
Sorry, back to... So he had this character development very quickly done, and then you see him trying to kill Bucky, blah, blah, blah. He gets to the point where at the end of the movie, he kind of... I thought what was happening was he was going to peek in and join the fight. But what he did, which surprised me, is that he hung back and watched what happened.
Yeah.
And then at the very end when he sees, the main bad guy...
Yeah.
He says he's not going to take the revenge he wants, and I was like, wow, this is pretty surprising. I was just surprised for it being a superhero movie.
For a superhero movie where they've already killed off one bad guy in the first few minutes.
Yeah.
A very important Captain America bad guy, Crossbones, gets killed in the first 10 minutes.
Great character design, by the way.
And he's a great character, and the character looked great.
Yeah, the design of him was amazing.
The design of him was perfect and very authentic to the comic books in that he had the wrist blade. That was sick. And then they kill him off, and now he's just gone.
Well, we know that happens in every Marvel movie, which was, disappointing. That I really, that's one of the things I really just don't like about Marvel movies is that they'll kill their villains. That's how they solve everything.
Yeah.
The villain at the end dies. He just dies, or he blows up, or disappears, but they're gone. So when they killed him in the very first 10 minutes, I was like, really? I was just very confused. Yeah. And then when it comes to the very last villain, and they don't kill him, I was just like, okay, well, why did you spare this guy,
Yeah, I'm a little confused at that. Because they're both just humans.
Right.
But yeah, I would have been happier if they'd found some way to arrest the first guy like they did the second guy. And let me go ahead and jump ahead because we were going to talk about the villain in a second, but let's talk about him now. The villain in this one, the posters and everything make it look like Iron Man and Captain America are just fighting each other, but we find out that they're actually being manipulated the whole time from the jump by Baron Zemo. Or
they call him Colonel Zemo.
They call him Helmet Lieutenant Zemo or Colonel Zemo or something like that. Instead of being the son of an old Nazi, as the gentleman in the purple mask is, this one is a member of was a soldier from Sokovia, which is the country they dropped a island on in the Avengers: Age of Ultron movie, and he's pissed because his family died, and so and he has this great line where he talks about why he did it. And he says that when you want to destroy a country, you don't fight them from the outside; you destroy them from within.
Right.
And that's basically what he does. Is he has the Avengers turn on each other with some kind of secret information about who killed Iron Man's parents, Winter Soldier.
Yep.
So a lot of people say, oh, it's another crap villain. The Marvel movies are kind of known for having crap villains, other than Loki. But to me, this villain is actually a kind of a great villain because this is a normal person who outthought everybody and tricked everybody into doing terrible, terrible damage and destroying the Avengers. And even though he goes to jail at the end, he wins.
He doesn't really care, yeah.
Like, he won, man. The Avengers are broken up, and he did it. That was the goal. That was the mission, and he got it. So, yeah, for me, this is actually one of the better villains they've had, just in the idea that he's that much smarter than everybody else. He outsmarted Tony Stark. He outsmarted, you know, all these other people.
Well, like, I mean, I'm more not like, I don't really love, I'm not in love, madly in love with this guy.
Yeah.
I'm more upset that they called him Baron Zemo. He's, you know, when they could have just made him any other, you know, Sokovian, like, military guy. But, like, because, you know, I like the comic books. I wanted them to stay true to it. So, like,
you wanted the purple hood.
I wanted the purple hood. I wanted the sword. I wanted him drinking wine and fighting Captain America.
Yeah.
And he's not that at all, you know. But was he a good villain? Yeah, he's a great villain. He, you know, tricked all these people into doing what he wanted. Did he break up the Avengers? Absolutely, you know. Yeah. So, yeah, good on him. But I'm just kind of bummed that they made him Baron Zemo instead of making his own person.
That is a little bit of a bummer. Yeah. So cool thing when I went and saw the movie, and because I saw it opening night Thursday, the audience cheered every time they saw anything cool on its way. They cheered when we saw the back of the Black Panther for the first time. Even when he was just in his suit, they flipped out. The other spot that got a huge cheer was when Iron Man said, "Oh, I know a guy, I'm going to go pick him up," and the scene cuts to Queens.
Right, yeah.
And it says Queens on the screen, and everybody loses their mind. And I saw later with my dad, and he did not get it at all. And it's like, because Queens is where Spider-Man lives. Yeah. So now we get to see Tony Stark go and find Spider-Man. And this is a Spider-Man, they don't do the origin story because we know it, we've heard it.
Oh my God,
he got bit, let's move on. So yeah, they skip all that. Now we're in his apartment where he's wearing the crap costume, but he's got the web shooters. And his Aunt May is now being played by Marissa Tomei.
Hottie McHottie.
Who's really, I mean...
She's looking gorgeous.
I believe this is the only Aunt May we've ever had that has... You can go find her nude in other movies. I'm just going to say that now. You can go watch The Wrestler if you want to see Aunt May getting down.
I like how Tony Stark also kind of...
Oh, yeah.
Like he's just like, what is she? Like, he definitely plays it up.
You're far too attractive, Aunt, I think he calls her at one point. No, so Spider-Man looks really cool. The kid playing him, Tom Holland, does a killer job.
Amazing,
And then we get to see a little bit of this bonding relationship between Tony Stark and Spider-Man that I'm hoping will carry over to Homecoming, which has now been confirmed that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in. So this is cool. This is the beginning of the Marvel Spider-Man. This is the first time we've ever seen the Marvel Spider-Man. We've been seeing the Sony Spider-Man. The crappy Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then that all leads to the airport scene where we get to see Spider-Man fight and make jokes and be a kid, and it's perfect.
Well, I mean, Spider-Man's my favorite superhero.
Yeah.
Hands down. And I remember I told you, the first movie I ever saw in theaters was the first Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Okay.
And, I mean, of course, I was blown away because I was a little kid. It was great.
Yeah.
And then you get older, and then you realize, oh, my God, these movies are pretty bad. And then you got Garfield coming out with his Spider-Man movies, and I was like, okay, this is better. And then the second one comes out, and you're like, wow, this is pretty bad. You know?
Yeah.
And so it's nice to see that they're finally getting it right, you know?
Yes.
The kid's perfect. He's the right age. People are complaining, like, oh, he's too young. Why isn't Spider-Man older? It's like, because Spider-Man was a teenager when he got bit, so let's see him grow up. You know, you're not going to cast a 20-year-old like they used to, just cast someone the right age and let him grow up and become...
He was a high school kid,
So he looks great. You know, his quips are funny. And, I mean...
Perfect,
Yeah, and he's so... I mean, he's strong... They had a very clever way of showing all of Spider-Man's abilities without being like, let me explain everything that happens. You know, he web swings, you know, really quickly.
Web swings. He does web crawling.
He does you see his spider senses when the shield gets thrown behind his head, and he's like, oh, and he just ducks. You see him hold up the giant tanker, so it's like he's strong.
Yep.
You know, he's got. I mean, even at one point, someone was like, well, why didn't his spider senses go off when Ant-Man was on the shield? It's like, well, but if you listen before anything happens, you know. Before Ant-Man gets big and punches him, you kind of hear, like, hey, he kind of is like, hey, something's kind of wrong. You know, he feels, he has a spider sense coming. Yeah. And then he gets punched by I mean, it was great. And, you know, I really love the costume. What about you? And I
thought the costume looked great.
I'm really happy that they're doing the thing where, I'm sorry, this is just in general. With Chris Evans, you know, every other movie, it feels like they just try to make any excuse for him to take his mask off, to show his beautiful hair and his beautiful face. And in this movie, they kept it on as much as they can. Yeah. And so Spider-Man, that's what they also do in Spider-Man movies. Like, let me pull off my... He kept it on for the whole time until he got knocked out. Then he just kind of... And it didn't come off completely. He just kind of nudged up. He didn't pull it off. He just left it on. It was great. Great Spider-Man. I can't wait to see Homecoming. Looking very forward to it.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Ant-Man, you mentioned him in that. That was the other big spoiler, not so spoiler.
Big.
Ant-Man, as we all knew he would someday, becomes Giant Man.
Oh my God.
We got to see him do it. He becomes a Giant Man as a distraction to help Captain Winter Soldier get away, and it's wonderful. And the best part about it is, it's Paul Rudd being Giant Man,
right.
which just makes the whole thing funny.
It was great.
Yeah,
Paul Rudd was amazing in this. Like, all his jokes were on point.
Yes,
he was really Paul Rudding it up. You know, just being the best Paul Rudd he could be. And I mean, I've heard a lot of people that didn't like Ant-Man. You know, I didn't love Ant-Man. I didn't hate Ant-Man. It was good.
It was good.
But I mean, seeing him in this, I was like, man, Ant-Man, he was great. Like, all his jokes were hit.
I mean, to be fair though, like at one point when people would say, "Oh, they're going to make an Ant-Man movie," they would just get laughed at, and rightly so.
Right.
Because that sounds dumb. And then Edgar Wright went away and created this great little special effects scene, and we all got hyped for it. And then the movie comes out, and it's good.
Yeah.
It's on the better side of good. It's, you know, like a 6 or 7 out of 10, which I never would have guessed that an Ant-Man movie would. And now that we have Giant Man to throw into the mix, I feel like there's so much more they can do now with the characters.
Oh yeah. And I can't wait for Giant Man. I mean, Ant-Man and Wasp to come out.
Ant-Man and Wasp, that's going to be fun.
Looking forward to that too.
So yeah, no, this was one of the coolest parts of the movie. This was given away months and months ago though when one of the toys came out.
I didn't know. I had no idea. As soon as he started doing like, I got something big, I can do something, and then he starts like, I'm the best, I'm the best. And I was like,
all the other fans in the audience were like, we know what this is.
No, really. I mean, the guys that were with me didn't know either. I don't think, but they were just like, but then like I looked, did some research because I try to stay away from all this stuff to not get ruin it for me. So when I found like, oh, the toys came out, it was kind of
yeah.
But yeah, great.
So a toy came out months before the movie premiered that said Giant Man on it.
Yeah.
And as soon as that happened, most of us, because here's the thing, in the comic books, Giant Man and Ant-Man are the same guy. Mm-hmm. The guy who is Ant-Man, Hank Pym in the comic books, has been Ant-Man, Giant Man, Yellow Jacket, Goliath, about a dozen other things. Because he gets bored and likes to change his costume.
He's also been a woman beater. I'm saying that for
yes.
Say for that for one of my friends because he hates it when I say that.
So sorry, woman beater?
Yeah, no, he'll know. You know who you are.
Ant-Man's a woman beater.
He is.
Yeah. So
anyway, let's keep going. Yeah.
Not Paul Rudd. He is a gem of a human being.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a criminal.
So, yeah.
Great guy.
No, he's a thief, but he steals from the rich, like Robin Hood. So all in all, Captain America: Civil War, wonderful movie.
Out of 10, what would you give it?
I'm wanting to give it a 10. There wasn't a single part of that movie I didn't like. I'm giving it a 10.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
That's the disparity between most of the reviews out there on the internet.
Yeah.
Is it perfect or almost perfect? Because that's really...
It's almost perfect in my opinion.
And that's the other opinion. Those are the two sides of this debate, is whether or not the movie is perfect or almost
way
perfect.
better than Batman v Superman. But you and I were just Marvel fanboys, so what do we know, all right? Yeah.
I'm not a Marvel fanboy. I want to like these DC movies.
All right. Marvel
they just got to stop sucking. All right, so that's the review for this week. I know we took a ton of time just talking about one movie, but that's because it's a big movie. $180 million at the box office this weekend.
Sweet.
So here we go. Suck, not suck. Megan Fox wants to play Indiana Jones.
Suck. Suck. Let's keep going. What is she thinking?
She wants them to reboot Indiana Jones and let her be Indiana Jones.
So let's make one of the best movies and best characters out there. One of the...
And
played by the worst
terrible actress.
I mean, yeah, you're hot, but that's all you got, lady.
Not to mention hot female Indiana Jones. Just go make Tomb Raider.
Yeah, there's got to be.
There's already a franchise out there that sucks that you can go and not add anything to.
Yeah, there's probably some deviant art right there somewhere out in the internet
sure.
of Megan Fox already is Indiana Jones. That's all you're gonna get. This is gonna suck. This isn't gonna happen. Go away, Megan Fox.
Yeah, no, that would really suck. So, all right, number 2, Russell Crowe has agreed to play Dr. Jekyll in the Universal Monster Universe they're building. So they're starting with The Mummy with Tom Cruise, and in that there will be a Easter egg of Dr. Jekyll
and Mr. Hyde.
And then that will then lead to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with Russell Crowe.
Okay, not suck, because I know that Russell Crowe pretty much is, Mr. Hyde as the person he is.
That's true.
So he's great. He just needs to learn how to be a decent person for a bit.
Yeah, no, to be fair, it sounds like he mostly can do that. He can give a tiny little interview to the press, and then he has to get drunk and hit people.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Russell Crowe. I think he's a good actor.
I do too.
So I mean, I'll watch this. I mean, I don't want to watch. Never mind. I don't want to watch any of these Universal monster movies. But I mean, I'll watch this because Crowe's my dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's gonna suck.
All right.
Just because it's one of these Universal monster movies. So, all right. Next up, a director is looking at making more of the Anne Rice vampire movies and wants Jared Leto to play Lestat. This role was made famous by, there you go, Tom Cruise, Interview with the Vampire, and they're wanting to give that to Jared Leto.
Okay. Not suck. I like Jared Leto. I don't know who this vampire dude is. I've never seen Interview with the Vampire. I probably should, but yeah, I mean...
Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Okay.
I just have never gotten around to it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I really do like
It was a big deal when it came out. It was huge.
Yeah, I was like probably 3 when that came out.
It's true.
Anyways, Jared Leto's a great actor. I have great faith in him. So yeah, I mean, I'll watch. It's not suck.
I perfectly agree. Yeah, Jared Leto, especially with the Joker, the way he's playing him, it wouldn't be too far of a move, probably just a little bit to the right, to really land right where Tom Cruise was with Lestat. I would imagine he would play it quite a bit better than Tom Cruise too. Big deal happened over the weekend here. Alden Ehrenreich, I'm trying to get that name right here. Alden
no one knows
Ehrenreich,
who he is.
who was just recently in the Coen Brothers movie, where he played a kind of old school Western movie actor, has been cast to play young Han Solo in the Han Solo movie.
Okay.
Now, to be fair, did you see?
I did not.
I'm blanking on the name of it now.
Yeah, something Caesar. Anyways,
Hail Caesar.
Hail Caesar.
Hail Caesar.
Yeah. So that was the scene where
Yay.
he's the one that can't get the line right?
He can't get the line
Yeah.
right because he's got a Western accent, and the French director's trying to get him to pronounce it. Would that it was so, and he's saying, "Would that it were so."
So, anyways, he kind of looks like young Han Solo. His
Yep.
cheekbones are a little more pronounced. I mean, they must have put him through some rigorous stuff if they
He
casted
did
him.
in Hail Caesar. He rode a horse, shot a gun, basically like
He was cowboy Han Solo.
he was a cowboy, and so it's what they were trying to do was back in the day with the with the Western movies, a lot of it was camera tricks. It wasn't really people who were that
But he
good on
could,
a
he
horse,
could.
and he just did all that stuff,
Okay.
and was just awesome.
Well, my question. This is my question. This
Yeah.
is what's going to suck or not suck. Is he the same height as Harrison Ford?
I don't believe so. Harrison Ford's a tall dude.
Okay, so if he's not the right height, it's going to suck.
Just because
It's going to suck.
I mean, but he's younger.
So like he's still. In his
I wasn't
20s.
the same height when I was younger.
What?
When I was
You weren't always Big Ben?
When I was
You weren't always Big
I was
Ben.
a couple inches shorter.
Oh, okay.
So but no, I grew like an inch and a half over the course of my 20s.
I'm going to say not suck just so the internet doesn't hate us. Not
There
suck.
you go. Mostly from what I saw in Hail Caesar, the kid's a hell of an actor. So I think he could really crush the part.
Take your word
So,
for it.
all right, and last one. This one's a little bit weird. So Tom Hanks' character of Robert Langdon, we saw him in The Da Vinci Code, we saw him in Angels and Demons, and now he's back for a third movie called Inferno. And there was a little teaser trailer that came out, and this was what it promised, or what the premise that it put out there. What if there was a button that if you pressed it would kill half the people on Earth, but if you didn't press it, would kill everyone on Earth in 100 years? It's an interesting idea. I don't know what the hell it has to do with archaeology, which is what the other two movies were about. But yeah.
Would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
I'd rather fight the 100 horses.
I'm
not sure why.
I mean, I'm gonna say. I mean, those movies have the tendency to not suck. They make a lot of money, right?
It depends on who you ask. I mean, yes, they all make a lot of money, but some people are like, oh, I love those movies. And then a lot of film critics are like, those are terrible.
Well, who cares about film critics? They don't know anything. Okay, we know everything, so not suck.
Not
I don't.
suck.
How about I don't care?
I'm going to say not suck just because it's still Ron Howard. It's still Tom Hanks.
Cool.
So anyway, so that's our show for this week.
Great.
If you have questions with the show, if you have issues with the show, or you just want to be a guest host like Juan was this week, give me an email. It's bigbms@zoho.com. If you like my voice and want to hear more of what I have to say, you can check me out on my podcast, Geek Wars Podcast. It's available on iTunes, Podcast Addict, and anywhere that podcasts are found. Juan, you got anything you want to plug?
Actually, I do, Ben. Last time I
Okay.
didn't. This time I do. A buddy and I started a podcast. Right. We're gonna make the big bucks in the podcast world.
Of course.
It's called Instant Ramen Podcast. Right.
Nice.
That's a good name, right?
That is a good name.
So we just talk about anime, which I'm a big fan of, and he's also. So if you're into that kind of stuff, look us up. We should probably be on Podbean and hopefully on iTunes pretty quick.
All right. So that's the show for this week. Next week, I'm going to be talking to my guest, Annie Fisher, and we're going to be looking at the new George Clooney movie, Money Monster. So stick around for that and all the other great shows here on BCAC TV. Good night, folks.